think? Did get away in the woods today to go make a pile of email shards before I start our move. It's just so frickin' hot. I made it to 100 today, and it just sucks the life out of you. I had 2 trailers to work on, horse trailer, start packing stuff, and then it's just so hot. And another thing too, I'm a little gun shy. I'm ripping up the mountain there on the old quad. If I lit that place on fire right now, I wouldn't forgive myself. But it's one of those things where if I'm going to do it, I'm talking about going up that mountain where I filmed that shadow, or whatever it was. A lot of people said they saw the head moving stuff, did an analysis of the video, which I don't bother with. And I don't look for that stuff either, right? Obviously, I got cameras all over the place. And if something comes up and arises right in front of me while I'm sharing emails, yeah, I'm going to videotape it, sure, you guys, sure. But I'm not looking for it. When I did intend to go look for these things, I got a very strong message from them for me to just piss off. And I'm no dummy. I don't have to, it doesn't take much to figure out when something outclasses the living shit out of you. It can have your ass whenever it wants. And if it gets a clear message across to you, you listen, right? So here we are. I had to put on a sweatshirt today and some light hunting pants because there's some kind of weird little mosquito hatch here right now. These little tiny guys, and it feels like a needle sticking in you when they get you. They're dirty little bastards. But anyway, these guys are already fed. Poor guy's still sweating. Black horse in the sunshine in 100-degree weather. Poor things. And of course, when I spray them with the hose, they run. It was so hot today. Their water trough over there is brand new. And I dumped it out and I scrubbed it out and I filled it up, and it was so hot and I hadn't been into it yet, so I jumped in it and I sat there and soaked and cooled off. It was pretty funny. But anyway, and now the Rumble channel. I haven't made that video yet. I will. The Rumble. I thought I named it How to Hunt. The facts about how to hunt when I did it. It was confusing setting it up, and it ended up being called ProGuide66 because it said username, didn't say channel name, and ProGuide66 has always been my email and my handle on hunting forums when I used to be on them years ago. It was the first thing I ever had. So I guess if you type in ProGuide66 on the Rumble, that's where you'll find that. And I'm not feeding that place consistent videos either because I just don't have that time. But I will utilize it to share other videos that would normally get you deleted from regular social media from the Nazis, right? Yeah, I smuggled them out a couple of cold carrots each. I might have to move to that side of the fence because I don't need to get picked on the entire time I'm trying to share these emails. There you go, Moms. Can't wait to get these guys moved. Can't wait. I keep telling them we're moving. I think they're picking up on it. Hey. This place, there's an old slough just behind that camera. There's a big pond in those bushes, and it is mosquito hell here. It's brutal. Look at you. You are sweated right up, aren't you? Hey? You gonna let me read it? Or I'm gonna have to tie you up, get you away from me. Anyway, let's see what we got. We got lots. Lots and lots. You can't have the phone. And I hope you guys all realize how important it is to get voices heard. Not allowing people to speak was our original downfall, big time. Giving people power is a big mistake. We're all paying for it these days. So listen to this. Hello, I love your videos, mostly because you're very handsome. All right, thanks for that. LOL. Anyway, I'm from Williams Lake. That is below the center of BC. Been there many times. It's only about 5 hours that way. I'm First Nations. I was told a story many years ago by an elder. It basically says, don't bring a woman with you where you know there is a Sasquatch. Sasquatch will lure the woman through its mind. The woman would go to where it is being called, and you'll never see her again. The majority of Sasquatch are in Bella Coola area. They tell stories of Sasquatch grabbing children from open windows. If you want to learn more about them, you could ask an elder from Bella Coola. All right. Sandra, thanks for that. Thanks for that email share, all right? Appreciate it. And if you come across any more stories in your community, your friends, your family, and you think it'd be of importance to all of us, make sure you email it in, all right? And I have had Clayton Mack. You guys Google up Clayton Mack, the old, very popular big game guide from there. There's a book by him called Grizzlies and White Guys or something like that. And he wrote about his Sasquatch encounters, and some of his direct family members have been messaging me on social media for quite some time now, too. There's a lot of history up there, but there's Sasquatch all over this province, all over this continent, from side to side, end to end. Big time. Especially right behind me, believe it or not. Death Valley encounter. Hey there, my life has been full of weird shit. Apparitions, spirits, dead people, poltergeists, shadow people, UFOs, and of course the Sabe people. My encounter with Sasquatch is in the most unlikely place. Tony and I were camping in Death Valley as often as we did. We had a CJ7 Jeep and wandered all the back roads. This day, we were at the Keene Wonder Mine, one of the large attractions just off the main road. My partner Tony and I hiked to the top of the trail where the old mine was. It was mostly collapsed and looked quite dangerous. When we got back to the parking lot, we noticed some old decaying buildings. Tony wanted to investigate. We had to walk through a dry creek to a plateau where there was a natural spring coming out of the ground. In order to get to the ruins, we had to hike up a small hill. At the top, Tony ran off to see them. I went back down to the spring. I took pics of the beautiful rainbow colors, then noticed 2 footprints, perfect human prints, only ginormous, 16 inches long and 8 inches wide. Across. Okay, go on. I took pics of them, sorry not included, as the crowd size, right? Then walked back to the parking lot, which is 500 feet away. I sat on the hood of the Jeep facing the spring. Suddenly, from the hill came a very large hairy leg, followed by a large hairy body and a head. It was soft gray, the color of the surroundings. I freaked out. It sauntered over to the spring, knelt down and scooped up a drink of water. I picked up my camera to get pics, but nothing was in the viewfinder. I tried this several times. Nothing. I finally decided to just watch. He was squatting down, enjoying the view. He looked calm and at home. I prayed he wouldn't make eye contact. Get out of here. Go on. After about 10 minutes, he walked back into the hill. Yes, into. At this point, I started to panic because I realized I had just been in that very spot and there was no sign of Tony. When he got back, I told him about what had happened and showed him the footprints. We decided to tell the park rangers and show them. They said they would check it out. Not sure what they found, but they closed the mine to the public right after that and for many years. After watching your channel a few weeks, I thought I should share. Because I'm an empath and I seem to be the victim of the targeted individual program, I recently asked to remote view a local Sabe. A large reddish male with a square jaw came forward. I asked his name and he gave me Grandpa. I thanked him. I asked him for protection from the creeps. He said I should stand my ground and then somehow calm my mind. The Native Americans believe they are supernatural, and so do I. Take care of my brother, Joanne. Wow, Joanne, that is a handful, isn't it? And the camera thing, I believe that's not a first. I believe the camera being directly pointed at them and nothing showing up, that's been mentioned numerous times in the past from various people not connected. And if you've been searching for answers on this topic and many other topics, it doesn't take long to figure out that crazy shit's going on that we can't wrap our heads around. And I'd like to give another answer for a lot of people who are frustrated to say, a lot of people are saying, all these cell cameras, all these trail cameras, why no photos? It doesn't make sense. Well, the answer to that specifically and directly is, we're not good enough. We're not smart enough. That's the only answer. That is the answer for all the questions when it comes to the frustrated questions of why we haven't this, why we haven't that, how come we can't obtain this and that when it comes to this one topic. It's because we're not smart enough. Give me another better reason, right? We're not smart enough. We're not good enough. We don't have technology that's up to speed with these things. Maybe somebody does, but the general public isn't allowed to have it, that's for sure, right? We're not smart enough. It's frustrating, it's not fair. But as long as we keep sharing with each other openly and not being freaked out and judging people and shitting on them, we're gonna get smart enough. It's gonna change, and we will get smart enough and we'll get better. But we're not gonna get smarter if we keep running around in circles, right? How long have people been running around in circles on this topic now? How long? How many people have died not fulfilling their goals when it comes to this topic because they kept chasing their tails in the same direction? You got to break free of that. You guys have got to start listening to emails like this person just sent and start listening instead of just going, holy cow, really? That's a little out there. Of course it's out there. Everything that we don't understand is going to be deemed as out there to us, right? As soon as you accept that we are not smart enough, not good enough, then you're going to start to pursue the knowledge and try to get better and smarter, right? Instead of staying stagnant and doing the exact same things as the rest of the dipshits. Setting out trail cameras, putting out baits, pheromone chips, bonging trees, and screaming in the night. How many times do you think that's done in a year? How many times? Right? I watch people. That's how I learn. I watch people that are smarter than me all the time, and I try to pick up on what they're putting down. And I watch people and learn from other people's mistakes. I don't repeat them. Okay, come on. Go, go, go. Anyway, before I start babbling too much, to get on with it. But just remember that. We are not smart enough yet. All right? But we will be, as long as we don't give up. But first, I'm pretty certain if you want to get ahead in this topic, you're going to have to accept the fact and admit that you're not smart enough yet, and you're not good enough when it comes to these beings. But don't give up, and then you will be, eventually. And don't repeat mistakes. Quit repeating mistakes. Still gives me goosebumps. I had a question for you as well. Is it common for coyotes to hang around a Canadian wolf? I was messing around in September and called in a bull elk. There's no open hunts in this unit during that time of year. Well, I had called the bull in to about 20 yards. All of a sudden, from the opposite side of the valley I was in, came what I thought was a wolf howling. The howl seemed to be loud. Too loud, however. It was very loud and powerful. Approximately 5 to 10 minutes later, an entire pack of coyotes started sounding off. Yips, barks, howls, and various other noises they make. I always thought the coyotes stayed away from the wolves. Could have been something else that howled first. Also, that big bull elk didn't seem to care at all. He just kind of wandered off and kept on bugling all the way up and over the top. I don't know. That hunting season was horrible, though. There were literally no elk to be seen the entire month that the season was open. I have a hunch. I now know what was going on. Just needed some insight from a pro on the wolf subject. Thank you, Steve. Wolves and coyotes are absolute enemies. A wolf does not stand the presence of any other canine. Period. That includes other wolves. The number one killer of wolves is wolves. All right. It doesn't matter what type of dog, how many dogs, what species of canine, coyotes, foxes. It doesn't matter. Wolf pack comes across any other canine, they gobble them up and shred them and murder them instantly. It's just the way it is. And another item, another little piece of information on that. It's always the alphas that die after a wolf fight, 'cause it's always the alphas that lead the charge. It's the alphas that are going in there to kick ass, and the other alphas from the neighboring pack, they're coming to fight that wolf too. And it ends up the alphas always die. The pack never dissolves, and the pack goes back home again after the battle, and then the next in line takes the alpha position in the pack. What are you doing? There's no carrots in there. So yeah, no, coyotes and wolves don't hang out. But I have seen, when you say the bull kept on bugling, I've watched bull moose and cows standing, not saying a word, when there's wolves howling all around. They don't really run panicking, because where are they going to go, right? Wherever there's prey animals, there's predators, there's wolves. But I've never seen any game animal panic and run. I've howled like a wolf to get mountain sheep to stand up for my hunter so that he can shoot it. And they don't run off panicking, right? Anyway, thanks for sending that in, man. Appreciate it. And I hope this channel is helping you out with figuring out what's going on out there. Oversized turtles. All right, that'll be in reply to that one about the huge turtle we heard before, right? I think a couple people have emailed in about those now. Man, it is muggy and hot right now. Hello, Steve. Use my name if you care to. Nick Robertson. I love what you're doing. Keep it up. I remember when I was much younger in the early 70s, our parents were taking us, brother, sister, myself, for a weekend swim at a public swimming spot. More like a creek. Anyway, back to the turtles. We were almost to Suntan Beach here in Missouri. We all noticed the turtles on the road and on the sides of the road were larger than the norm. They seemed to be as large as the car tires, and some only as large as hubcaps. 15-inch tires back then. There were well over a dozen of them. I haven't seen any more than that size since. Part 2. We did have a local bait and tackle shop that kept a very large snapping turtle in a 5-foot cattle tank with chicken wire over the top. And people used this as a wishing well. The last time I remember seeing that snapping turtle was getting very close to outgrowing its tank. Crazy. Imagine how big those suckers get. This is also in Missouri. If I remember correctly, we lived in St. Charles across the river from St. Louis. Thanks for taking the time to share with us on a daily basis. Keep up the good work. Nick Robertson. Nick, thanks for that, man. It'd be interesting if you could follow up on that snapping turtle that was kept in that place and see if there's any pictures of it. Somebody would probably be interested in seeing it, right? Poor Richie horses. 3 experiences. Man, I am getting sweaty. Hello, Steve. I live in western Montana and have had 3 different experiences over the last 30-ish years. The first was in 1987 while driving back to my in-laws' home in Idaho. I was eastbound on Interstate 90, just east of Fish Creek. The highway is divided by thick timber there, and as I approached the end of the trees where the east and the west lanes came back together, I saw a very large figure standing next to a tree with its hand up on the tree leaning against it. As I got closer, I realized it was not a person. It took a while for my brain to realize what I had just seen. I-90 has few exits, so turning around was not an option. But I know what I saw, a Sasquatch. The second experience happened while hiking in the dark to my hunting spot up Fish Creek a few years later. This hunting spot was probably 10 miles from my first experience along I-90. We had stopped to take a breather at the end of a ridge. There's a parallel ridge to the east. As we stood there, we heard the loudest scream I've ever heard. Now I've had experiences with every critter that western Montana has to offer, but I've never heard anything like that. Again, I know what it was. The third was about 12 years ago. Since he was about 5, I've taken my son camping and fishing for his birthday. This particular trip, we'd camped along the Brushy Fork in Idaho, along its border with Montana. The whole week we'd been there, I felt uneasy, and there was an intermittent stink in camp. The odor was so bad, I thought I was having an issue with the toilet system on the 5th wheel we were in. Each time I checked the system, it was working fine. Another oddity was that there was a white-tailed doe that hung around camp for several days. Now this spot is very remote. There was no one else around for miles. The last day my wife is going to be there, my son and I decided to walk down to the creek and fish. For whatever reason, I did not take a firearm with me, but left it with my wife since she would be alone at the camp. The entire time we fished, I was constantly looking over my shoulder because I had a very strong feeling that I was being watched. I've had run-ins with mountain lions, grizzlies, and wolves. I've also learned to trust the hairs on the back of my neck to warn me. The feeling was so strong, we decided to go back over the creek and headed back to the camp. When I got there, I told my wife what had happened, and she agreed that she had felt very uneasy while I was gone. My wife left to go back to town, and we ate dinner. After dinner, we sat around the fire talking. The doe was surprisingly absent. I looked up at the sky and noticed a bright light slowly moving across the sky. Not a plane, not a meteor, just a single bright light. A few moments later, my son, who was facing the camper, my back was to it, said, "Dad, there are 2 big brown hairy feet standing at the camper door." I turned around and sure enough they were there. Oh, that would suck. The door to the camper was on the other side of it from us. I said, let's go see. This time I had a handgun with me. As we moved towards the camper, the feet ran away from the camper into the timber. This unnerved me, and I decided it was time to go to bed. Most I wanted to be inside the security of the camper. At about 1:15, I woke up because I had to pee. Before I got up, something hit the camper hard enough to rock it. It was up on jacks and very stable. As I lay there trying to process what it could be, something rattled the door handle. I reached over and turned on the outside light, and with the gun in hand, slid open the curtains. There was nothing there. I got up and peed, turned off the light, and went back to bed. A few minutes went by, and the door handle rattled again. Yes, it was locked. Again, I turned on the light, slid open the curtain. Again, nothing there. I turned off the outside light and laid back down. The door handle rattled again and again, nothing outside. This went on every 15 to 20 minutes until about 4:30 a.m. when I was so tired I fell asleep. We woke up that morning, ate breakfast, but I couldn't get packed up and out of there fast enough. I guess so. I know this wasn't a bear, raccoon, or something similar because there's a cooler with food in it outside that was untouched. It wasn't a person playing a prank because I never heard a sound. Besides, everyone around here is armed, and a person would be foolish to try and play that kind of a prank. I know what it was. It was Sasquatch. I've gone back to this spot since then, but I don't think I'll ever camp there again. I know this is long, and for that I'm sorry, but I want to share the whole story. Please feel free to share any or all. Keep up the good fight. Thanks, Jim Ratcliffe. Wow, Jim. That's not that cool of an experience, man, for anybody, right? I'm glad nobody got hurt. Glad you stayed in there. It'll be interesting to see if somebody from that same area is listening to this channel right now, listening to your story, and possibly has the same one. But there you go. It's not normal what's going on out there. These beings are not a typical animal that ruts and runs around the mountains like a chimp or gorilla. They're just not. All right? There isn't a gorilla or a chimpanzee or any kind of a monkey alive that's going to be that intelligent and that stealth to pull that kind of shit off. There's just no way. It's not even, I don't even know why I mention that anymore. It's so, the animal, the gorilla monkey thing is so far off the radar now, it's stupid, right? We've got to start moving forward. We've got to start getting smarter, and we have to listen to everybody. Thanks again for sending it in, man. If you ever hear anything else, send it in. All right, I set up a huge chunk of big float that we found in the ocean last summer, offshore. Keep them on this side of the fence so I keep getting mauled by these horses. I just put a big layer of bug dope on them. They were getting pretty uncomfortable. Mosquitoes are brutal here right now. That's all I can do to struggle through one more video. Then I gotta get up in the mountains tomorrow, man. Have to. Now, what do we got? Besides 5 million mosquitoes. All right. Well, the title of this is Holy Shit. So I'm guessing it might be something else. Steve, thanks for all you do. I'll keep it short. In the Cascade Unit, Oregon, I've seen not only a portal, but I've seen it used. As elk hunting is about an hour and a half past sunrise, maybe 2 miles off the main road. I've been following a game trail when something caught my eye. As I stood in the middle of the trail at a fork, I could see something looking back at me at about 75 yards up the fork in the trail. Hold on. Oh, these mosquitoes. At the time, my mind couldn't wrap around what I was seeing. As I stood there looking at this face behind a dark bush, I looked down and took one step. When I looked up, all I seen was a very thin little bush that had little to no resemblance to what I had just been looking at. And behind that little bush, I watched an absolutely massive Sasquatch walk into a frickin' portal. This thing just plain vanished right in front of my eyes. It was one of those, first you say it, then you fill your shorts with it moments. I've kept this to myself mainly because I've had other encounters and been ridiculed for talking about it. Anyway, how good, sir? Thanks. Truly thanks. You're an amazing individual for what you do. Jason E.K. P.S. I got your back, brother. You just keep doing what you do. All right, Jason. I think you know what I'm going to say to that. I'm going to say, share your other experiences, all right? Get them into me. I want to hear them. And probably benefit. A lot of people are going to benefit from what you've seen, what you know, and you're going to benefit from getting it out, all right? And obviously, now you're a member of the Club of No Return. It's funny, the portal things are very serious. They're very real. They're studied by many scientists. I spoke to many people about them, including David Pilatus. We spoke about them. Actually, speaking about Dave, I talked to him the other night. He told me that his third movie is almost complete, and he assured me that I'll never want to go hunting alone again after I watch it. Thanks, Dave. Maybe I won't watch it. But anyway, there are some crazy things going out in the world today. We're being lied to or being misled. Not about only about this, but about many other things. And it bugs me. I don't like dirty, evil, manipulative, power-hungry bastards. I don't like them. I've had them in my life. I've fought them. I defeated them. And I just can't stop myself and want to do it more. So we're going to keep getting the people together. We're going to continue to become stronger. And we're going to make people smarter. All right? We're going to make people better. We're going to make them smarter. That's what we're going to do. We're not going to quit. So, spread the word. You get more people informed. You get more people around this circle of knowledge, this round table of knowledge. It's got to get bigger and better. We're going to get smarter. All right, you guys? So whatever you got, send it in. That goes for every one of you out there. If you got something the round table of knowledge needs to hear, you got a missing piece of one of our puzzles, and get it into us, man. Just get it in. Don't not talk about it, and don't waste your time with the dumbasses, all right? Don't engage with people who want to challenge you on whether something's true or not. It's a waste of time. You know what you saw, you know what you know. You keep smashing forward at all costs. You keep smashing forward. You find your people, you get stronger, and you get better, and you get smarter. Okay? Time to go. I'm sweating my frickin' parts off, I'll tell you what. Hey, little man, you just want to be scratched, even though I just completely lathered your whole body in bug dope. Okay? Hey, my boy. Yeah. My boy. My little boy. Yeah. Talk to you guys later.